All right, let's talk a little bit about the housing crisis. A Montreal mother and her 4 kids could soon find themselves the latest victims of the city's housing crisis. Angela Ottereyes has been looking for a new apartment since February. But as July 1st quickly approaches, there are fewer and fewer options available. Let's get her story and find out the latest. Angela is on the line. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
Angela, first off, let's talk about you. Why don't you tell our listeners about yourself and your family?
My name is Angela. I'm a student at Dawson. I moved here in the middle of the pandemic, like October, November 2020 is when I first moved to Montreal.
What brought you here?
Well, I originally moved down because I had to get cancer treatment. But I've been in remission for 2 years. And after everything happened, I decided to stay here and go to school. So I've been at Dawson for 2 years now.
So you're studying at Dawson. You have 4 children?
Yeah, I have 4 children.
And tell me about, since you've moved here, how it has been to get housing and what has changed over the course of this year.
Well, when we first got here, it was easy to find a place because, I started looking in September, when I first got to Montreal, mid-September. I started looking, and I found this place, October, a month later, and I moved in, November 1st. And I brought my children from up north. They started school, and the first year was online. They were okay, and now that they're exclusively back in class, it's kind of hard for them to commute to their school because they go to a special school in Ville-Marne.
Uh-huh.
So, that was the reason why we wanted to move from here because we're in the plateau right now.
Okay, gotcha. So you want to move your family to a location that is closer to their school. That's a story that so many people can relate with. I hear about that all the time. People that want to move close to their child's school. What happened when you started that process? When you said, okay, we want to move closer to your kid's school, what did you find on the market as you started that search?
Well, when I first started this search, when I decided that I wasn't going to renew the lease, I notified my landlord, okay, this year I'm moving out. I'm not going to renew the lease. So I started looking in February and March. And then in March, I actually got sick. I ended up at the hospital. I had surgery, kidney stone. It was awful. So I didn't really look in March. And then April, May, that's when I started looking again. And the prices were so crazy. I'm a student and I work part-time at Dawson. I'm also an artist. I sell my beadwork and my creations, because I'm a single mom. I do what I have to do to provide for my kids. I work very hard to provide for my kids. So I was okay, I'm going to give myself a budget of $3,000. And even with that budget, I still haven't found anything. Even the ones that I did look at, they were $2,800, $2,600. There was one I looked at, it was $2,650, brand new. I put in my application, and then as soon as they found out that I had 4 kids and there would be 5 people living there, the owner just said, okay, no, 5 people, wow. It's too much for that place.
Wow. And
so yeah, what do I do? Do I blame them and I tell them, oh, I only have 2 kids, so there'll be 3 people there. It's not like they can kick me out once they find out that I have 4 kids,
Well, that, as someone that grew up in an apartment, to hear discrimination based on if you have kids or the number of kids, that is quite exceptional. Angela, the one thing about your story is that, you have a decent budget. You are not asking for the impossible. I hear sometimes people say, well, I want to find a place that's, a 5.5 and I want to spend $750 or $800. And I go, ooh, that's tough. you've got a budget. I mean, you said your budget's $3,000. It doesn't seem like you're asking for the impossible, but now does it feel like it is the impossible?
It is, I guess, like, because of my current situation, I guess it's impossible. You know, like, I reached out to a realtor. It was like an apartment building, like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It was perfect. I said I was going to take it. 3 bedrooms. I didn't mind. The kids get the bedrooms. I'll sleep in the living room. You know, I really didn't mind. So I messaged the realtor and I said, hey, I'm looking for an apartment and I'm interested in your building. So the realtor got back to me and just asked me, okay, what is your situation? So I said, okay, I'm a student at Dawson and I work part-time there. That's all I said. And he replied back, the owner thinks you will not be able to afford rent and your living situation, you know, like, and then I replied back and I said, I'm First Nations. I have a school board that provides an allowance for me of like this much a month. Like they make sure like I'm taken care of while I go to school. I also work part-time at Dawson. Like I said, I bead, I make mittens, you know, like I make indigenous art crafts and I sell them. I also do beading workshops, you know, like I did some at Dawson, some at my kids' high school, some at Youth Fusion, some at, you know, Native Montreal. I have the income to like be able to afford an apartment, but still like this realtor was like, oh, you can't afford it. You're a student.
Angela, the stories you're telling me here about, you know, you get one roadblock, someone saying, well, you've got kids. Another roadblock, oh, well, you're a student here. It must be awfully discouraging. How are you feeling right now?
It is discouraging, but, you know, like it could be for a totally different reason. And I felt like it wasn't because of my race, because I used to live in Val-d'Or, like before moving here. And like when you're an Indigenous person trying to get rent in Val-d'Or, nobody will rent to you. You go to the apartment building, and as soon as the landlord sees that you're Indigenous, they're like, oh, it's rented. You know, but I haven't felt that way here. It's just, I guess, the fact that I'm a single mom who's a student who has 4 kids. Well, I have 6, but I have 4 that are like under 18 and that are living with me. So, like, I guess because of my current situation of being a single mom, a student that has 4 kids, I guess it's just like it'll make it harder for me to get a place.
We're with Angela Ottereyes discussing her search for an apartment housing for herself and her 4 kids. So, Angela, you know, the Premier, François Legault, said, hey, no one is going to end up homeless on July 1st. What would you tell him if you could have a chat about housing?
God, I don't know. Like, I don't even want to comment on Legault. I'm still mad at him for Bill 96. So, like, I have no comment for Legault unless he's willing to put me up and my kids for a hotel for the month of July while I search for something in August, and I'll vote for him next time.
What's the latest situation for you? Right now as it stands, we're June 28th here. What is going to happen to you over the next few days, over the next month or so?
Well, I've rented a storage space. I am putting everything in storage. Like, we're almost all packed. Like, the movers are coming Friday. They're going to take everything into storage. I've reached out to the city of Montreal. I spoke to someone, and they told me, okay, call back Friday when, like, I guess I'm officially homeless. I've had people reach out to me. Like, I have, like, friends that are in the area that have offered a bedroom. Hold on. Yeah, that offered a bedroom for us. So I am trying to find, like, a way to send my kids up north, you know, like, because I have a daughter that's an older daughter that came down with me. My grandson went up north, went home and went away. So I'm, like, trying to get as much people out of Montreal so we're not homeless. We're not all homeless. So hopefully in July, it'll just be me that'll that'll need a place to stay because, like, I've signed a promise to lease, but the apartment is not available till August.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping I get the apartment. It's actually a house, but I'm hoping I get it, and I have a home for August. But for July, I will need a place to stay.
Angela, good luck on that front. I hope come August, everyone's under the same roof. And it's really, I appreciate your time this morning telling us your story.
Hi, thank you.
That's Angela Ottereyes on with us this morning.